Good evening, my dear friends, and welcome from a very windy Cumbria. It's blowing another gale outside, and I'm glad I'm indoors. I welcome you to our gathering for peace. I welcome you in the name of love, because the God we all love is a God of love. So let us begin by inviting your heart to light a candle for peace and unity within the whole family of God, our brothers and sisters. So we light this light in the name of our beloved Father, Mother God, who creates life, in the name of the risen cosmic Christ, who loves life, in the name of the Spirit, who is the fire of life, in the name of Gaia, our beloved Earth Mother, who nurtures the divine in all life, and in the name of all faith traditions known to God. They are our brothers and sisters. And in the name of spiritual diversity, I, Brother Sean, welcome you on behalf of all my brothers and sisters who've embraced a life of simplicity, dedicating their lives for peace and unity within the whole family of God. So let us be still now. Let us relax. And let there be no fear in our heart. Be still now. Be still in the presence of a loving God. And I begin with a beautiful prayer from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. To humble beings immersed in suffering without respite, all harried by terrible and endless karma, unbearable disease, fighting, starvation, and all manners of dangers, let an ocean of happiness and peace arise. And the words say it all, don't they? So we come as pilgrims, seeking the divine truth in our heart. And we come to this table of love from different faith traditions, and we try to embrace the same God, known by a different name, in each other's heart. And that is one of the pluses of being a Franciscan, because we don't do the theology or the dogma. What we do is spiritual hospitality, where we come and share God's love with you. And when I say a life of simplicity, I literally mean a life of simplicity, being simple-minded, keeping everything in its proper perspective, not making life difficult, but just honoring your heart, your teacher. So let us relax for a moment and just embrace the stillness of the now, of this sacred moment together. And we do that by reminding ourselves who we are. We remind ourselves that we were called by name. We were called by God to be ambassadors of peace in a world that is spiritually impoverished, seeking a meaning and a purpose to life. And the moment you and I surrender our heart to a loving God, then something happens. Something amazing takes place within the soul. The soul is reclaimed by God to become the hands and the feet and the beating heart of the cosmic Christ in the world. And wherever we go, whatever job we do, we don't even have to utter a word, because that love will flow through us and touch those who are in need of God's healing love. As we close our eyes, we see this light before us. It is a bright light. It is the light that is representing divine oneness. And it's now releasing into your heart a sense of well-being, that you belong here. And no matter your mistakes, your failings, and the times when you ran away from your divinity as a child of God, the Father, Mother God wants to embrace you, to touch you, to set you free from guilt, oppression, fear, and to experience the liberation of your spirit, the liberation from slavery to self, to ego, to hedonism, to materialism, and to travel light as a pilgrim in search of love, in search of truth. Are you ready to accept the challenge set before you from the cosmic Christ? Are you ready to take a leap of faith into the arms of your God by listening to your heart? If you are, then jump, and nothing will harm you. Nothing will harm you, because you are already loved. Early this evening, I gathered a lot of the books that I've read over the last 3 years on live stream, and I just reached what everyone calls a mental block. There were things I'd like to share, there were things I wanted to share, but then I was guided, what does God want me to share? What does the cosmic Christ and Gaia want me to share? And I placed all the books before me on the kitchen table, and I just asked for help. and one of the first books that came up is a delightful little book called A Heart Full of Peace by Joseph Goldstein. Allow me read to you the foreword so that you can get the gist of what will be taking place every night at midnight for the next week or two. In this small book, Joseph Goldstein conveys with clarity and concision some of the spiritual teachings, beliefs, values, and practices you and I urgently need to help balance the materialism of our age. Compassion, love, kindness, restraint, a skillful mind, and a peaceful heart. Excuse me. Joseph originally presented this teaching as part of Harvard's Divinity Schools with lectures on living a spiritual life in the contemporary age, like we are doing. Yeah. He reveals the need to combine faith with practice. That's so Franciscan, isn't it? Faith with practice. Freedom with responsibility. And action with contemplation. I too am firmly of the opinion that those who sincerely practice Buddha Dharma must also serve society. Too often we make what we call the happiness of all beings the object of our prayers and meditations, and yet when we rise from our meditation cushions, we fail to give practical help to our neighbors and others in need. If we are to fulfill our altruistic wish, we cannot discriminate between spirituality and our life in society. Without the support of our fellow beings, we could not practice at all. And without a concern for their welfare, our practice has little meaning. And that's from the Dalai Lama. And as a Catholic Christian, the Latin logo for the community I was a nursing monk with had ora et labore, labor while you pray, or work while you labor and pray. Faith on its own isn't as powerful as faith with good actions. And all the great spiritual teachers, including Jesus the Christ, tells us faith without good works is not faith. And spirituality is a way of life, devoid of doctrine, devoid of guilt and fear. And it's interesting, the moment you surrender your heart and ask the question, like I had to do earlier, what book do I read, Lord? What book do you want me to share? The answer was given. And it wasn't what I imagined, but the choice was far better than what I would have chosen. So the moment you ask God what plan God has for your heart, your life, your ministry, and are willing to hear those words and put them into practice by honoring them, by nurturing them, then you are on the path as a pilgrim seeking spiritual wholeness and wellness. But where many fall down, they get caught up in the minutiae, in the detail, and they suffocate their heart by always reliving their past and comparing with the past. Oh, it wasn't done that way. That's why I don't go to church anymore. It doesn't do it the way it used to do. I remember my mom in Ireland back in the middle 60s when the Church, Vatican Council II, I was only a young novice then. But when I asked Mom, did she still go to church, when they brought the language that was used in Holy Mass from Latin to the vernacular, or the language of the country, which was English, she said, I've stopped going. I no longer go. I said, but why, Mum? It's easy to understand Holy Mass and the readings if they're in English. She said, I'm not bothered about that. What I'm bothered about is I can't do all my devotions. The multitude of prayers she had, her novenas. So she was going to Holy Mass not to take part, but to go through a list of prayers to saints for help. It defies belief. So we mustn't come to God with a closed heart. We must always come with an open mind. And we'll never be disappointed. Never, ever be disappointed. Let us feel and sense the power of God's love. Come to us now. Come and touch us now. What does God, the Father, Mother God, want from you right now? What do you sense in your heart? Listen. Many people say to me, oh, I keep asking God to speak to me because I'm listening. And I said, but how do you listen? Well, I put the radio on for background music. Really? Top of the pops. God wishes to speak to all of us, but we have to be patient. And God will speak to us not when we want Him to, but when the time is right. When the time is right. So let us just be still. Here we read a heart full of peace. Love, compassion, and peace. These words are at the heart of spiritual endeavors. Although we intuitively resonate with their meaning and value, for most of us, the challenge is how to embody what we know, how to transform these words into a vibrant life practice. In these times of conflict and uncertainty, this is not an abstract exercise. Peace in the world begins with us, with you and with me. Peace. It doesn't begin in Jerusalem or Bethlehem or at Mecca. It begins in you and me. In the following pages we will explore different ways we can manifest these values as wise, skillful action in the world. These teachings are based on the Buddhist traditions of the East, but their defining characteristic is not Eastern or Western, but rather an allegiance to pragmatism and the very simple question, what works? What works to free the mind from suffering? What works to engender the heart of compassion? What works to awaken us from ignorance? And there's a beautiful quote from the Dalai Lama. In the cherry blossom shade, there's no such thing as a stranger. And in the eyes of God, all are welcome. All are welcome. There is no separation. We are one. We are one in love. We are one, joined to the heart of a loving God. I would like us now just to be still as we try and lead you on a short guided meditation to reawaken you, your heart, to listen to the voice of the cosmic Christ. But first, I ask you to make sure you're comfortable, that you're not slouching, but that you are in a comfortable position and that your feet are touching the floor. And let us focus now on our in-breaths. And as we breathe in, now let us hold it. And in our out-breath, release any tension or fear to Gaia, and just relax. And continue to do this to your own rhythm of breathing. The cosmic Christ is now in your room where you are. He is sat right next to you, but you cannot see him because he wants you to use the gift of free will that our Father, Mother, God gave you. So now, let us use the gift of free will and say, "Come, my beloved Lord Christ, my teacher, my brother, my friend, my mentor, the Son of God." And as you breathe in, you become aware of a heartbeat next to you. It's a strong heartbeat, and it is not yours. And with your eyes closed, your hands are resting on your lap, and suddenly you feel and sense a warm hand touch your hand. And from that touch you can feel and sense a beautiful energy of warmth. And it's radiating up your arm, into your head, around your neck, and down your shoulders, down your spine, down through your legs, and out to Mother Earth. And there is a peace, a beautiful peace that resonates with you. And And as you continue to breathe in and out, you become aware of the grip of your hand with the cosmic Christ. And now he places an arm around your shoulder, and you can feel a rainbow of healing light touch right across your shoulder blades. And he gently draws you closer to him, like a mom with her tiny babe. And you are now resting on the heart of the cosmic Christ. You are safe. You are loved. And you are now at peace. And with every in-breath that you breathe, your heart is on fire with pure love. Every part of you is relaxing and sensing the love, the peace, the joy of the cosmic Christ. And there are no words, only tenderness. Tenderness that is empowering your heart. Release anything that's causing you worry or fear or disquiet. And you are aware that the cosmic Christ has you in his arms, and you are totally helpless in the arms of the beloved. Relax into that love. Relax and embrace this selfless love. And feel it in every part of you, for it is a liberating love, empowering you to take your power back from fear, from sadness, from despair. And you hear an inner voice, and it is the voice of the Christ saying to you, will you listen to me? Will you cease listening to those voices in your head that is putting a distance between us? Will you not come back to your heart and listen to my voice? For I have much to tell you. I have many good things to give you. There are many blessings waiting for you to receive, so that you can live a fun-filled, joyous life that's devoid of worry, sadness, despair. Come to me through the cathedral of life, through nature. Allow yourself become immersed in nature. Allow the animal kingdom bless you. And allow Brother Sun and Sister Moon bring you back to who you truly are, a beloved of God. Relax now. All is well. And just affirm the divine within you now by saying, I am a child of God.